guys, Asher coming at you today in Raid Shadow Legends. Welcome to the video, guys. Hopefully it finds you all doing well. If not, some positive vibes, some love for you guys today. And I'll tell you about love, man.
And I hope it's me.
This is probably one of my favorite epic champions.
Do you want to start a war?
Added in the last couple years, seriously, to the game, who we're going to be talking about in today's video, and that is none other than White Dryad Nia. A lot of requests for guides on White Dryad. I'll try to throw some of them on the screen right now, so thank you guys. If you ever have any video requests at all, it could be a champion guide, it could just be about a strategy or topic that you haven't heard elsewhere in the Raid Shadow Legends zeitgeist on YouTube. Anything that you want at all, go ahead and let me know. Obviously, I can't do a guide on every single champion in the game, lest that's all I would be doing, but always like the recommendations, especially when there's a bunch of people asking for the same thing, which was the case here. Now, White Dryad Nia is such a cool support champion. She's like a very mini Snick track, right? She's got the AoE decreased speed. It's on her A1, and she's got the ally protect as well, right? She's got all other very individually special skills, and no other champions quite have the same way that she does, which makes her in some ways even more special than a champion like Snick track. Although I would say overall I'd rather have Snick track.
Hey, you good?
But she's really, really cool, and again, she's special. Another champion that she can be compared to is honestly Krisk the Ageless, the big turtle himself, man. This guy obviously is an absolute beast, but her AoE is exactly the same as his AoE on the A1. They both have the exact same ability. It's defense based, it's decreased speed for 2 turns, and it's a 50% land rate on the AoE decreased speed on an AoE attack on their A1 ability. She's also similar to Krisk, bringing an ally protect to the table. So again, it's kind of like a poor man's Krisk, poor man's Stick Trap, but combined, and then add a little bit extra to that as well, which makes her a viable option for even endgame players, especially once they open up Sylvan Watchers faction crypt. She's going to be my favorite defensive-based champion, I guess, you know, alongside probably Elva and King Galkabar, who are both amazing. In my mind, they're both, you know, A or S tier legendaries in the game. But Nia, especially if you don't have any of those other champions, she's incredible. Let's review her kit quickly here. Again, AoE decreased speed on the A1, 50% land rate, 55 if you pick up Sniper. On the A2, this is a really, really sneaky good ability on a 3-turn cooldown, okay? It removes all debuffs from a target ally, heals them by 40% of their max HP, so a nice significant heal, which you can book up and mastery up as well. If the target is of this skill is not this champion, decreases the cooldown of all of the target skills by 2 turns. That's really, really cool. It's kind of like this really special ability that not many champions have anything like this, right? It's kind of like the Godseeker and Neri revival and reset the cooldowns, but you can just keep doing it every 3 turns, and obviously there's not a revival there, but instead there's a cleanse and a heal. Really, really cool. On the A3, we get an ally protect on all allies, and then a strengthen buff as well on allies for 2 turns. Now strengthen, that's gonna, even though it's the weak version of strengthen, 15% flat out damage mitigation on all incoming allies is really beneficial, especially if you're not already running a strengthened champion on your team. And then the best damage mitigation in the game is Ally Protect. That's a flat out 50% damage mitigation for all allies on her team plus the Strengthen, all on a 3-turn cooldown. And the nice thing is all the books go right to the cooldown. It's a really, really cool ability. And then Broad Roots, her passive. Whenever this champion is healed, heals each ally except this champion by 20% of that heal. Really cool. And strangely enough, she actually synergizes really well with a champion like Elva or a champion like Sylva Drakes, which we'll see in today's video, because they have this ability. Heals each allies by 10% of their max HP at the start of their turn. So what that's going to do is going to create kind of a double trigger of heals, where she's going to be going ahead and healing White Dryad Nia by 10%, and then 20% of that is going to be spread to everybody else on the team, right? So same thing with regeneration gear, in which we're going to have her in today's video, by the way. I think she's great for regen because she's healing herself automatically. And again, it's not going to be a massive heal, but over time, these long battles, Hydra, clan boss, it's going to really stack up, okay? So very, very cool champion. Great base stats, 20k and 1277 on the defense HP. And I have to say, for an epic champion, really, really solid all-around kit. Again, one of my strongest and favorite.
I am about 6 seconds away from slapping you so hard your teeth will bleed.
My strongest? Well, one of the strongest. How about that?
Okay, that's good.
I guess.
Support champions added, especially out of epics, to the game in recent memory from yours truly. I noticed her, and I think I gave her positive reviews when she was initially added to the game, but I hadn't actually maxed her out and tried her out, and boy, am I impressed. I'm actually going to slot her into a Hydra Clan Boss team at the end of this video that I would normally run with Krisk and just see how she does in terms of support and longevity of the overall team. Certainly she'll bring a lot more heals to the table than Krisk, but she's going to be not having the provoke and everything else that he brings to the table, the decreased attack and defense on his passive. So she's not Krisk, but she's got a Krisk-esque, a Snick Track-esque kit, which is really cool, and that extra A2 potential as well. So I actually do have, I was lucky enough to get a 4-star blessing on her as well, and I went with faultless defense just to kind of cover that at first. Not only are we getting this champion receive less damage from each subsequent hit from multi-hit skills, the damage reduction increases with each additional hit, but we're also going to get a nice 4,000 extra HP and a 40 resist, which I really, really love. So I'm a big fan of that. Of course, there's a number of different routes you can go with the blessings on this champion, but I'm a big fan of faultless defense. All right, so we already talked about her skills. I put her, as I mentioned, in a regen and a perception because I do want to get accuracy on her to take advantage of that decreased speed on the A1. So again, you're seeing regen. I have HP. Let's see what I have here. Defense percentage on the gauntlets, HP percentage on the chest, and then speed on the boots on this champion. So total stats here, we have 75k on the HP, 38k on the defense, 239 on the speed, and then we have accuracy at 340. Now, if I want a little bit more damage out of this champion, obviously I could bump that up to 100% on the crit rate. Her A1 is not doing a ton of damage. She is a support champion after all, but with War Master, it will add up to something at least, right? So this build's really, really strong. I don't think she needs to be this fast. So if I was going to sacrifice in any stat category, it wouldn't be, I wouldn't bring the accuracy below 300 for endgame content, and I might have to go higher depending on where I'm using her, but for Hydra, this is probably going to be fine unless we're going to go on Nightmare, and everything else I'm really just happy with on this build. I wouldn't sacrifice much more on the HP on this champion specifically. So masteries on her, we just went with War Master. Just getting a little bit of extra damage, as I said, but there's nothing wrong with going defense. I would probably go on the defensive tree. I would probably go with, I'd probably go on the left with Tough Skin, and then I'd come down and I'd pick up Blast Proof, reducing damage from AoE attacks. It's going to be really helpful. She's going to be taking a lot of damage because of her Ally Protect. Keep that in mind, so we want to keep her alive. The regen gear is going to help a lot in that regard as well, okay? Also, even Lifesteal in early game builds, not a bad option because of that AoE on the A1. She can get some of that HP and some of that damage back. I would go Resurgent, probably go down to Delay Death, and then I would definitely pick up Retribution on this champion because of that strong AoE on the A1. You can make an argument that even next to War Master, excuse me, maybe Retribution on these longer battles would be just as useful. Not just the damage from the counterattacks, but also from the decreased speed being up more often on the targets, especially on Hydra. So also same thing with deterrence there. That's probably the route that I would go on defense. If I was going to pick out a tier 6 defense mastery, I'd probably go Bulwark, but just keep in mind, we're already taking a lot of damage from the Ally Protect again, so you want to be cognizant when you pick up Bulwark, pick up masteries like Selfless Defender in the arena, that there's going to be a lot of damage, you know, being rerouted onto your champion. Keep in mind how Ally Protection works too. Ally Protection, each of your allies are going to be defense damage checked. They're going to mitigate that damage on their own defense, and then the excess damage, however much raw damage those champions would have taken, is going to be transferred onto White Dryad Nia or whoever the Ally Protection champion is. It's not like all of that damage is going to be checked by her own defense. First is going to be checked on the allies' defense. So just loading her up with a ton of defense isn't going to be that valuable because of that for new players out there, right? So we went on the support tree, we picked up some more HP, and we picked up the healing masteries as well. Nothing wrong with going with accuracy masteries if you're looking for that additional accuracy to land that decreased speed on the A1. The fact that she needs accuracy and survivability and a little bit of speed makes her a little bit more challenging to build, but again, we can sacrifice on the crit rate and the crit damage, of course, on this champion as well. So let me just show you quickly the accessories I went with here. I went HP on the ring. We went defense on the amulet. It is a trip roll of accuracy, so I'm very happy with this one, but I probably prefer HP in a a vacuum. And I did go accuracy on the banner here. I would love an HP banner instead if I could get the accuracy from the rest of the artifacts, but I just couldn't with what was available to me. I kind of made this rule to myself that for epic champions, I'm trying to use artifacts that instead of moving gear around all the time, every video, even for a whale, even for a spender on this game, it adds up, dude. You ever do a fitting room and it's like 700,000 silver just to remove the gear, dude? Yeah, it's really, I'm finding myself broke all the time, so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna start leveling up some of this gear, man. Not to say it's bad gear, it's really good gear, but I didn't go with anything that I already had on other champions when I was building her. Anyway, guys, that is the build. I'm a big fan. There's so many different ways to build this champion. You can go speed, you can go stalwart gear. Last kind of note for you guys, on ally protection champions, especially against strong AoE attackers, bosses, and the likes, stalwart is gonna be great to mitigate that AoE damage by 30%. It's going to help keep them alive, okay? So keep that in mind. It's a great option as well. Let's go ahead and play her in. We just have a brand new, at the time of this recording, I'm traveling this weekend, so I am recording this in advance, but we just have a brand new Doom Tower cycle. So I'm not sure if you guys would rather see like Griffin team with her, or if you'd rather see a dungeon team. I think I'm just going to go with an old school dungeon team before we go into to clan boss. So let's go with an ice golem team, because that's where we'll be taking the most damage from the ice golem out of all those bosses. Let me make a team, and I'll come back to you guys in just a moment. All right, guys, I put this fun team together. Just want to do something a little bit different in this video in terms of the team comps here. So we actually have not run Rhonda in a comp since I introduced her in my first like champion reviews and guides on her. So let's go ahead and run Rhonda here as kind of just a damage dealer. Let's run Thylesia, who we have not spotlight on the video for a while, or on the channel, excuse me, for a while, with a decreased defense. And then let's go ahead and put one of my favorite epics in the game. I said White Dryad Nia was one of my favorite epics added support in the last couple years. Tagore would be the other dude. I did a full guide on this champion. Nobody talks about him, but he is so incredibly good, guys. Increased defense in the ally lowest HP on the A1. He has an AoE increased speed and a heal on the A2 on a 3-turn cooldown. And then he has an AoE revival with a shield, and then decrease the damage allies receive by 50% or less by 10%. So more damage mitigation. I really love this champion. Really strong. All right, let's see how this team does, guys. Not going to be the world's fastest run, but should be fun nonetheless. And I'm curious to see how the ally protect and that extra kind of heal. Again, we purposely put Sylvan Drakes on the team so we can get extra little heals off of the passives kind of bouncing back and forth. So I really like this squad. Stage 25, we'll see how we do here. And I actually want to, usually I just kind of cut to the boss with you guys, but I just want to kind of watch this team for a little bit and see how they all synergize together. One of my favorite things in this game is just making kind of weird teams.
Pardon me, sir. What's your point, sir?
I mean, Syl is obviously a popular champion, but just I've never run a group like this together, we'll say. We do have 2 revivers on the squad, so even if we lose one of our squishier nukers on the team, we should be A-okay, but hopefully we don't lose one of our squishier nukers on the team because of White Dryad's Ally Protect and the regen gear. You'll notice every time she takes a turn, which you'll notice in 2 seconds here, she's going to be going ahead and healing everybody, not because of anything else other than her passive, right? That 20% of her own regen heal passing on to everybody else, which is really cool. Let's pay attention to Sylvan Drakes here, because I said earlier they'll have that chain reaction, right? And I want to make sure that it actually happens. So let me go ahead and go slow here, and let's just take a look. So Syl is turn meter about right over there. Let's slow it down. And let's just take a look, see exactly what happens when she goes. Rhonda. Dude, I'm like so old that I still can't even say Rhonda's name without singing the Beach Boys song. And you can see there was 2 heals on everybody because of the 2 passives. That's really cool, you know? Nice synergy, a really nice combo, support combo, having Sylvan Drakes with her stun and her CC kind of built into her kit, and the CC and decreased speed from White Dryad Nia as well. Really cool. And again, see how much damage she took there though, guys? A lot of damage with the Ally Protect on those strong AoE attacks, but she was able to stay alive, and even if she died, we pick her right back up with Sylvan Drakes. But that's why I wanted as much HP as humanly possible on this champion. Okay, I gotta be real with you. This is not the most entertaining wave ever. Be right back at Ice Golem. All right, guys, here we go to the Ice Golem himself. Let's see what we can do here. Let's see what we can do. Nice balanced team. We go in there. I love what doesn't show up on the stat sheets. We talk about this a lot on the channel, right? I think that some players can be so wowed by just the amount of shields or heals or damage done by each champion. But what does not show on the stat sheet are things like the A2 ability there, right? Reduces all the cooldowns of a champion by 2 turns. It's such a nasty ability. You know, synergize that even when we're not on auto. If we go on manual, right? She takes a lot of damage there, but again, she's staying alive. Nice. But again, when we're not going on auto, we can actually choose who we're doing that to. So think about using that with a champion like, I don't know, Geomancer, right? Just reducing the cooldown of those really strong abilities, or have some real fun putting her with a champion if you're lucky enough to have a champion like Kymar or even Painkeeper or Renegade. I mean, that's going to reduce the cooldown of their abilities that reduce the cooldown of other abilities, and it just kind of goes like again and again and again, and it's really cool. I really love her kit, man. I've got to hand it to Plarium. Criticize them, you know, a decent amount here on the channel, but they do have the ability, after so many thousands of champions, seemingly millions of champions they're adding to this game, being a little bit hyperbolic here, and she's healing herself up very nicely with that A2 as well. So it's nice that she can heal herself up by 40% damage plus the masteries every time she takes a big hit while under ally protect, and not to mention the strength and to mitigate damage as well there. But everybody dies, but guess what? We have 3 revivers and one of them just took a turn. He's gonna go ahead and pick everybody up. This did not go as well as I wanted it to, but I'm not gonna... Why isn't he using his revive, dude? What's going on here, man? Revive everybody.
You really fell for it.
There we go. Man, that was pretty cool. The triple reviver. I said double reviver team earlier, guys, but it's a triple reviver team. You know what I would probably do now that I look at this squad? I want to see how much damage Rhonda does and Thylesia does. I'd probably remove Rhonda and put in somebody who's got a little bit more to their kit other than just sheer damage. Because at this rate, we'd probably be better off with just like a Dark Elhain or something like that. But again, I'm worried about too much damage, and I don't want everybody to die like we just saw. That's not a good move. But of course, if we had like OP, if you know what, we could put Ultimate Death Knight in there, right? And then we would never lose. I feel like you can just solo this and probably faster than what this squad does. However, it's not about the run. It's not about the team. It's about just seeing what Nia can do. And I think we're just going to be able to keep everybody alive here. It's kind of cool. Did you see how strong this dude is to Gore? Man, I'm telling you, I'm going to probably make next week a most underrated champions in the game video, and he's definitely going to be on it. So, not the prettiest run, but again, we get a lot of healing damage mitigation from Nia. Thylesia, Rhonda puts out a decent amount of damage, but she's very one-dimensional too. I think I would definitely keep her in like a Fire Knight team, but I'm not sure if I'm super thrilled about her, in an Ice Golem stage, you know? Anyway, guys, let's go ahead and move on over to, I mean, again, you could use this champion pretty much anywhere. She's Void Affinity, which is the nice thing. You don't have to worry about bad affinity matchups or what level of a dungeon that you're going against, but I actually want to go on Hydra. I'm going to put together a really fun Hydra team. I'll be right back. All right, guys, this is the team that we are going to run here. Now, we're going to go against normal because that's the difficulty that I need to go against, but I'm expecting a lot of damage and expecting this team to last forever. Again, going with some champions that we don't normally showcase here on the channel, and to be honest with you guys, showcasing a support champion, I got so many requests for Nia, right? But support champions are kind of, I don't want to say boring to showcase. They're not. They're fun. They're cool. But it's like, you know, once you get a feel for what they're doing, I'm not sure how exciting it is to just watch them, you know, heal or cast an ally protect. Either way, guys, we have Mighty Uko for our reviver on the team. We have Mithrala for increased defense for a cleanse. We have Contra for just being an amazing champion altogether. She's bringing all of these debuffs at random to the table. I love Contra the Cyclone. She'll probably also be in my most underrated video. We're going to run Deke. I'd never really run Deacon Armstrong too often in Hydra. I'd never do at all. So I thought it would be fun to take him for a spin. He has great control turn meter boost, I should say, on the A3, not to mention the extra turn, not to mention the decreased defense up all the time, and then Inquisitor Shamil as well for damage, and he'll do a lot of it. Inquisitor Shamil, man, I actually have him in a toxic set. Some people like that, some people don't, but I find just the damage is exponentially higher as long as we have the debuff spots open when I run my Inquisitor in toxic. So you can see his stats there. We're a little shy on the crit rate, a little shy on the crit rate. 99, 98, 95. All I need is like a plus 5% passive for increased crit rate on all allies. There is no champion that has a passive that increases crit rate or crit damage. That'd be pretty OP and fun to see, right? That would be a game changer. Probably broken. Anyway, accuracy is nice and healthy there. And again, accuracy is very healthy there. Mighty Uko a little low, but he's going to get the job done. All right, guys, I'm going to come back at you guys. I'll check in after maybe like 100 turns, and we'll see how we're doing. I'll be right back. Let's enjoy this battle. All right, guys, so we just cleared 100 million total damage. We are on turn count 1138. Suffice it to say, this squad can get it done here. And I gotta say that White Dryad Nia is doing a great job of keeping everybody alive. But most importantly, as we've already spoke about at length, just that ability to reduce the cooldowns on that A2 is so powerful. Really, no matter which champion that she's targeting with that A2 ability. What a cool champion. I'll come back at you guys at the end of this battle. We'll see how much damage and how much healing we can put out at the end of the match. Be right back. All right, guys, here we go. The moment of truth. We're starting to lag here. I've been watching this screen for 52 minutes, man. I didn't think it would take that long, dude. All right. Contra.
She disappeared.
There she goes. All right, guys, here we go. 109.65 million damage. Granted, again, it is the normal difficulty, but check this out here, guys. We got Uko putting out 17 million, Mithrala 20 million, Contra 17 million, Deke 13 million, Inquisitor Shamil with a whopping 33 million, Nia being support with 8 million, but check it out. We have tons and tons of heals there, 4.2 million on the healage. Not too shabby, not too bad at all here, guys. Nia is a great support champion. Hopefully you've taken that away from the video. If you have her in the vault, if you just pulled her, congratulations. She's going to be tremendous, not just for Faction Wars and Sylvan Watchers when it's ever added to the game, but really for support anywhere, especially, again, for people who don't have champions like Sniktrat and like Krisk. Guys, thank you so much for watching until the end of the video. I appreciate you all, and as always, take care, guys.